Hi, it's me popping in with a bonus video. So, no word of a lie, I was more or less done with this unit, and then I happened to stumble across an example of outliers in the wild, so to speak, that I thought I'd share with you as an example of how outliers can cause problems. And I especially like this as an example because the outliers I'm going to show you definitely aren't errors. These are real outliers. So you might be familiar with Goodreads. It's a site that lets you log books and review books and do some other stuff, but I just use it basically as a reading diary. And Goodreads lets you view your reading stats. So we've just finished 2025. Let's take a look at my 2025 reading stats, okay? And let's look at publication year. Of the books I've read, this might be for all years, not just 2025, but of the books I've read, when were they published? Do I read modern novels? Do I read classic novels, or what? And I'm going to click this, and it's going to pull up a scatter plot. And the scatter plot, as you see, is going to be basically unreadable. Um, we've got these huge ticks on the y-axis, the publication year axis. All the books I've read seem to be sort of in this band. But all that's really telling me is that they're somewhere between 1750 and a little after the year 2000. Like, it's impossible to just look at a dot in this scatter plot and have any insight into what year it is. Now, there is this nice feature where you can uh, scroll over a dot and see and see information about it. But before I move the mouse up, and is the dot directly above this cursor? Is that 1800? Is it 1900? Is it 1950? You cannot look at this scatter plot and see that it's 1897. And why is this happening? Well, this is close. I mean, you've got all of this data in this thin band up here, except for these 3 points down here. And these are outliers. These 2 points represent, as you see, volumes of the Mahabharata, a Indian epic, or maybe I should say proto-Indian epic. Goodreads has put its publication year at 400 AD and is representing that as negative numbers on the y-axis. So we've got negative 400, and then this play at 400 AD. And other than these 3 data points, I think that the House of Seven Gables at 1851, is the oldest book I've logged. So almost all of my data is more recent than 1851. And then you have these 3 points that are significantly before that. And Goodreads appears not to have any mechanism in place for dealing with that. it looks at this. So it says, okay, we need data in the 400 AD range. And then it looks at these up here. And it says, okay, we need data after the year 2000. So it selects a number to use for a tick on the y-axis. It selects 250 years and it generates the scatter plot. And the scatter plot is almost entirely empty white space. The points are unreadable. And that's all happening because of these outliers. If it weren't for these outliers, then the y-axis would be going from maybe 1800 to the present day, and we would be able to actually read this. So here's an example of outliers causing trouble, even though they are real outliers. They're not errors in the data. And I don't know necessarily how you would resolve this issue. I mean, a very common strategy would be something like this, where when you create the graph, you don't insist on the y-axis being perfectly to scale, and you put some kind of symbol here to indicate there's a lot of blank space here, but nothing's happening in it. I don't care about it. So that's one way Goodreads could have resolved this issue. There are other ways. But it is an issue that probably should have been resolved. Goodreads' strategy of doing absolutely nothing has resulted in some pretty unsatisfactory visualizations, as we can see.